God is in the slums, in the cardboard boxes where the poor play house. God is in the silence of a mother who has infected her child with a virus that will end both their lives. God is in the cries heard under the rubble of war. God is in the debris of wasted opportunity and lives. And God is with us if we are with them.
I was born in Mexico. My family was very poor. They smuggled me across the border. I remember stories about my family when they first got here, and they were so poor. They literally lived in garages. They rented a garage and saved their money before they could actually get a house to live in. By the time I was 19, I had gone to 19 different schools. We lived in a car for a while. We were homeless for a while. I remember my bedroom was in the back of an old '63 Cadillac. I remember I could crawl into the trunk from the back seat. As a kid, I thought it was pretty cool, but looking back, it was pretty hard. And I do remember the embarrassment of being homeless. I remember pinching pennies, looking for change so we could get something to eat. There were times where we lived day by day, just getting something to eat and getting by. I also saw a lot of violence growing up. I saw a lot of the violence of poverty. By the time I was 10, I'd seen 9 different people killed. My little brother, 2 years younger than me, was killed right in front of me. My grandmother died when she was taking care of me. My aunt who lived with us. My uncle, who was like a father to me, was stabbed to death. And later on in life, my father was killed, shot to death by my mother. And then my mother committed suicide. She killed herself. So I'm certainly no stranger to poverty, the violence of poverty. There was a lot of anger in my heart. There was a lot of turmoil inside me. And by the time I got to college, which was in itself a miracle, I was very militant. I was an angry young man. I became an activist, a political activist, organizing things, marching, protesting. I wanted to change the world. I wanted to make the world better. But even that got to a point where I got very disillusioned and tired of it. It just wasn't really making a difference the way I had hoped. And I'll never forget when I studied about Jesus for the very first time and I saw that he was the true revolutionary, that he was the real radical, and his message and his plan really did change the world. My dream was to change the world, and today that dream is stronger than ever before. I want to change the world for God. Gandhi once said, there are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. And I think it's too easy to say, why doesn't somebody else do this? Why doesn't let someone else help the poor? Let somebody else feed the hungry. Even as religious people, even as spiritual people, it's too easy to cross to the other side, like the Levi or like the priest. It's too easy to be in a hurry, to be in a rush, to be busy with our own lives and our own things to do, than to stop and really love our neighbors. Jesus' gospel was proven by how he treated people. He didn't just preach. He fed, he clothed, he healed, he touched, he cared for people. God is love. He's the God who rescues. He's the God who listens. He's the God who hears our prayers every day, every moment, no matter where we are, no matter what country, no matter what place we are. He's the God who feeds the hungry and clothes the naked and takes care of the poor. Therefore, we should be like him. In Luke 9, the apostles come to Jesus and they say, there's too many people, there's not enough food, send them away. And Jesus says, you give them something to eat. When we give something to somebody that there's no way they can give back to us, we're being just like God. It's amazing that the Apostle Paul, when he went back to Jerusalem to make sure that he was on the same page as the other apostles, and the one instruction they gave him when he asked them, what should I be doing? They asked him to remember the poor. It's the one thing they wanted to make sure he was doing. And you remember what his response is? That was the very thing I was eager to do. I don't know that we think that way anymore. I don't know that's necessarily what we think of when we think of preaching the gospel as also remembering the poor. If we were sending somebody to another country to preach the gospel, that we wouldn't necessarily say, don't forget to help the poor. But it was certainly on their hearts. I started out very involved in the community. I became a Christian, got involved in a lot of other things, and got less and less involved in the community and serving the poor. And now I'm getting more and more involved again as part of preaching the gospel, as part of advancing the kingdom of God. I believe that the world is changing and people want to see Jesus. So helping the poor, serving our communities is a very powerful way to help spread the gospel to a changing world. When we give to the poor who can't give back to us, when we take care of orphans, when we take care of widows, when we take care of the hungry, when we take care of the victims, we're being just like God. And that's pure religion.